Welcome to Movie House Cinemas. Popcorn? Yes, please. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the movie. Reclining chairs? Don't mind if I do. Action, thriller, romance, we got it all. Discover the cinema today. Movie House Cinemas, home of the movies.
Good evening, and welcome along to another edition of Rob and Elliott Tonight. Coming up on the show, we'll be finding out why it's okay to be average in the dating world. We'll be chatting to dating expert Alix Fox.
81% of singles, that's around 6 out of 10 people, just want someone who's a standard, solid, down-to-earth, relatable, awesome average Joe. They just want a normal person.
According to some new research, we judge people on how they smell. We'll be chatting about that and talking about boomerang smells as well with cleaning expert Laura Mountford a little bit later on.
So hopefully I'm going to share some tips with you today, Robin, to banish those boomerang smells for good.
Swing singer James Huish will be joining us in the studio, telling us all about his brand new concert tour. We'll also find out why he's teaming up with musical theatre star Alfie Boe.
If you want to train in musical theatre here, you've got to go leave your family and live in England. So we ideally want to put a degree course in Ireland.
We'll also find out about the latest theatre production from Kabosh.
So this is the first time that this is ever going to be on stage, and it's really nice to have quite a fresh take on sort of the housing crisis. Unfortunately, quite a relatable story for a lot of people.
And we will be shining the spotlight on a youth organisation from Belfast called Our City.
20 of our young people who are heading out on the trip, and they're from the Shankill and Ardoyne communities. It's ratio based, so it's an even split, and the young people have been working together now for just over 2.5 years.
But as always, let's begin the show with a look back at some of the more quirky news stories of the week. And to help us do that, the one and only Mr. Showbiz, Paul Martin, is back with us.
The other Paul Martin was better last week.
I thought he was much better, wasn't he?
I thought he was much better. Could you get this week?
No.
Well,
it was too much money, you see.
Well,
that's
exactly.
the thing. So
this Paul Martin will have to do then.
Yeah.
There you go.
But what I'd love to see you and that Paul Martin swap jobs.
That would be
you do the antiques
just
and he
based on
does the nonsense. Yeah.
I mean, really, people say I'm a bit of an antique myself now, Robin, in this game. We do showbiz for 20 years. But that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
If you could take one other job in the world, what would that job be? Could you be doing this?
I've been doing this forever. I've been doing television and radio.
Any mad job, pick it now. What is it?
I could see myself behind a bar.
I could see it. And I have many times seen him behind the bar, folks. Many times.
I could see myself running my own little bar.
You see yourself with you used to have the cloth over your shoulder, wouldn't you?
Yes, I've been doing all that.
Whatever you called him, Coronation Street, you always had the glasses. Do you remember him? Reggie Duckworth, what you've called him?
Jack
Duckworth. Jack. Do you remember Jack?
I remember Jack,
I love Jack. And his little piece of sellotape on his glasses.
Yes,
I could see you doing that.
I could do that.
Yeah, there you go.
I could see
I'd like to see me doing that. When you do that, I'll take you over.
Yeah, exactly. Right, showbiz stories or non-showbiz stories.
We need to not cause massive security alerts in restaurants by pronouncing things wrong. The more I read this, the more I'm stunned by it. A bizarre incident in Lisbon, caused...
Lisbon, not Lisburn.
Could be either one you want. I can just leave that link. Shall I just leave that dangling?
I think we'll leave it at Lisburn.
Yeah, I think
so. Yes, yeah.
Well, that's the way I pronounce Lisbon. Is Lisburn. What a breaking local news story! Costing a $1 million security bill. It all happened as a man who was this is the problem is Google Translate, right? And you know the way everybody, when they go on holiday now, especially to America where they can't understand us, even though they speak English. Ironically, they all use the Duolingo and all now, don't they? So you have somebody standing in front of you, they're coming to take a rate. I would like a prawn sandwich, please. And then it becomes... So he did this. He said, I'd like a pomegranate. Okay, I would like a pomegranate. And he puts the phone up to her head, it translates it as, he didn't know it, a grenade. He says, I have a grenade. That's what it told him. So he's sitting out, 2 minutes later, they're sitting down to have it, and the whole restaurant is swatted. There's $1 million put on the price tag of what it costs. The entire place is cleared because of voice translation software. Be careful.
Be careful, yes.
Be careful.
Be careful what you're ordering.
Can I tell you a UFO story? It's been a while.
We haven't had a UFO story in a long time.
This one is particularly, I've seen a couple of ones that really scared me recently. This one is apparently true. I'm saying apparently. So if I'm saying it's apparently true, then it must be really dodgy.
Yes.
Because I would latch onto it as God's gospel. A man has claimed that he has given birth to 3 small aliens. Okay. He says that this is apparently a growing phenomenon, right?
Right.
Of people arriving with these small things that don't move, which would suggest that they may be made at home.
Right.
Okay. I'm talking about the days of Morph and things like that.
Yes.
I have to say, they've just clicked the picture there. They do look quite convincing, but he says that they were only lived for a couple of weeks and died. But they're part of a new race. It doesn't say what kind of race. And more people are coming forward now saying that they have been impregnated. So he's not saying that he conceived another alien's baby, but he was given as a vessel of it. There's 65 people, say they have this phenomenon in Arizona. 65 people in a small area of Arizona have claimed that this has happened to them. Robin, don't go to Arizona. You
I'm not going to Arizona. That's,
This doesn't help the UFO cause, does it?
No.
Because there's growing credibility with things being done at the Senate and everything.
Yeah.
And then you see the man with his 3 baby aliens who look like Morph.
Yeah.
And 65 of them operating in Arizona. I don't know. Get one on the show.
I think the only thing we can do is talk to these people.
You need to get them on the show.
Get them on the show. We still haven't tracked down the man in Bangor either. I mean, these people don't want to come on the show, obviously.
This is, of course, the greatest alien story of all time,
yes.
which is the man who was delivered to Bangor Marina, was revealed by you on my radio show, and said, I am here. I've landed in your marina.
Yeah. He was transported.
I'm transported by aliens, and I'm here to message you. Yeah. Bangor Marina.
Yeah. And we keep asking him to get in touch. He never gets in touch.
Where is he?
Where is he?
Probably up there somewhere, isn't he?
Probably.
Thinking you might drop into like Antrim Harbour next time or something. I don't know, something like that. By the way, here's your final story of the day. Be careful.
Yes.
Don't mess with Pop-Tarts. Now they're costing somebody $1 million. $1 million. A Texas man has been arrested after sparking an all-out brawl by throwing a Pop-Tart at an employee. Okay. Now this might just sound like a bit of a hissy fit.
Yes.
He picked the strawberry flavour, just so you know.
Right.
He threw the Pop-Tart at the poor employee after an argument over a price. Okay. Police then swooped in and retained half a Pop-Tart for evidence. It has appeared in court in a plastic bag, right? And they said, how much damage are you looking for? They said $1 million. It was done in 5 minutes. They said yes. It was deemed as an offensive weapon. This is, of course, in America where famously somebody spilt some tea on themselves, which was mildly warm, and caused the landmark case of, I think it was $5 million they got because the cup wasn't put down properly. No, the tea was too hot. That was it. The famous case of the tea that was too hot in America in a drive-through, and they paid $5 million for it. So it is the Sue Me Now city and country. And now Pop-Tarts are the new offensive weapon that will bring you down. Will bring you down, Robin.
So
beware the flying Pop-Tart.
There's no more? No more from you this week?
No more from me this week.
That's it? Okay. We'll have more UFO tales, more flying breakfast foods.
Find the Bangor Marina, man.
Possibly again. Don't worry, Kim Kelly is back next week. Right, on the way shortly, we'll be chatting to dating expert Alix Fox. Before that, we're going to shine the spotlight on a youth organisation from Belfast who went out to South Africa recently as part of their Belfast to Blanco project. I caught up with them at the Common Market to find out all about our city. Here's what happened. Tell us why we're here then tonight.
We're here tonight to thank the Common Market for supporting us on our trip to South Africa in a week today.
Okay, and why are you going to South Africa then?
We are going to South Africa to help out within the townships, to take sessions and deliver sessions within the local school. We are also going to be delivering food at our soup kitchen and doing food drops throughout both townships called the Valley and the Scheme within Blanco. We will also be doing everything. We'll also be hosting fun days. We'll be spending a lot of time with the families and taking a step in their shoes and seeing how they do daily tasks and daily chores, what the kids do with their time, spending time with the kids once they're out of school, helping out with home meals, preparing food and stuff. So we are very busy when we're away. There's so much to be doing, and for the young people it's just great experience for them. It's great global awareness.
And of course, it's all through Our City as well. So tell us how you became involved in Our City then.
So I joined the Our City programme back in 2015 as a participant. I came through the 3-year process. It was 3 years at the time, it's 5 now. But I came through the 3-year process of being a participant and then a volunteer. And in 2018, I got my opportunity to first go to Blanco as a participant on the programme. I then went back again in 2019 as a volunteer. I went back again in 2020, co-leading a team as a staff member. And this is my first time leading a team in 2024, and I am so excited.
Wow. Tell us about the kids who are coming on the trip with you. Whereabouts are they all from?
Yep. So the young people, there is 20 of our young people who are heading out on the trip, and they're from the Shankill and Ardoyne communities. It's ratio based, so it's an even split. And the young people have been working together now for just over 2.5 years. They first joined our junior project and have progressed through until now they're on the Year 2 leadership programme, and all these 20 participants are also on the B2B Belfast to Blanco international project. So as I say, they've been working together now for 2.5 years, building their relationship, their cultural awareness, even how they interact with each other in terms of their skill base, their communication skills, their leadership skills, all of those things that we help them enhance and work alongside them to achieve qualifications, accreditations, as well as the personal social development stuff, which I think is really underlooked. The thing you can't capture is what is done most. So it is, which people take for granted, between confidence, leadership, articulation, communication, all those things that you can't capture on a grade sheet is the things that these young people build every week in their sessions.
So Caitlin, tell us first of all why you decided to get involved in the Our City programme.
So growing up in Ardoyne, I went to Ardoyne Youth Club for like a large part of my life since I was just a kid. And I always seen my youth leaders going, and I was like, that looks amazing, like I want to be a part of this. So when I heard about it when I was about 12, I was like, great, I want to get involved. So I went to sign up and I got involved, and now since I was like 12 to now I'm 17, I've been involved in the programme, and it's been amazing.
So how important is programmes like this to the people in your community then?
So important, especially from where we're from. There's really nothing to do for the kids. They're out in the streets, they're messing about, they're taking part in antisocial behaviour, and the fact that like Our City can bring them in and they take them away from that, it's really amazing. Like so much of us all off the streets all together basically created like a family.
Wow,
yeah.
Okay, tell us about the trip you're going on, because really it's a trip of a lifetime, isn't it?
It's amazing. So about 18 people from the group, they take part in interviews and you get selected to go. So basically we're going to go to South Africa, volunteer in the townships, helping with the kids, taking part to their creches, going to care homes, just bringing a smile to their faces that with the conditions they live in, it's worse than what we have, and it's just nice to give back to and explore the world as well. So I'm really excited and I can't wait. It's not real, it's like it's not happening.
Okay, so Michael, first of all, tell us why the Common Market wanted to get involved in a project like this then.
So Robin, Common Market got involved in a project like this sort of by accident. When we were opening Common Market in 2021, we didn't have full license. We had what's called an occasional license, so we had to support charities or events, and we did various charities. But we landed on Our City because it felt good. Some of the staff from Our City now work here, and we adopted them, and over the 2.5 years we've raised significant amount of money for their project, which would be Belfast to Blanco in South Africa.
And as well as that, I mean, it's a charity close to your heart because of where the charity is based. It's an area you're from, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm very proud to say I was born and bred on Shankill Road, and ironically the centre that the kids work at, these are kids from Shankill and Ardoyne, and they operate out of the Spectrum Centre, which maybe you and I might remember as the Stadium Cinema, and I went to the Stadium Cinema. I don't remember seeing you there because I was a wee bit older, but I remember seeing Norman Wisdom in there, which shows you how old, the Milkman one. So, yeah, close to my heart. And when the judge asked us about, why do you do it? And I said, because it feels good. It feels good and it's nice to give something back. Yeah. As I said in the speech to the kids earlier, it's sometimes not what you achieve in life, but what you can contribute. And that doesn't mean money, it means giving something back. And that's what these kids are doing when they go out to Blanco.
So how important are projects like this to communities like the Shankill, Ardoyne, places like that?
Well, massively. You've spoken to Alan Waite and some of the Donovan and stuff earlier. Some of these kids could have ended up in trouble. They could have ended up in various things like addiction or financial health issues, whatever, mental health issues. And what our city does, especially on the Belfast to Blanco project, brings them together. They work on various projects. And when you see stuff like this in Blanco with the poster saying thank you, it sort of makes it all feel good.
So what about the Common Market? Any big plans for this year then?
To continue on as we have done. We're up on last year. We're bigger and better. We're learning every day. We've got the rugby season coming up. We're a big rugby bar, and we're looking forward to that. Listen, you know what? There's a lot of doom and gloom out there around cost of living and hospitality. But I'm always, excuse the pun, in the bar trade. Some people talk about is the glass half full or half empty. Well, I always like to say the glass is refillable. And that's my positivity going forward.
Right, still to come on Robin Elliott tonight, we'll be chatting to swing singer James Huish and finding out why he is teamed up with Alfie Boe for a very exciting new project. And we're going to get some dating advice from Alix Fox right after these.
Is your child a budding chef? Do you think they could be the next culinary sensation, the rising star young chef of the year? If your child is aged between 10 and 16, this is their chance to shine. Simply send a short video of them cooking their signature dish and telling us a little bit about themselves, along with their details to youngchefni@gmail.com. Entries close June 30th, 2024. So get your child's entry in now.
Heading to the North Coast, the Jet Centre in Coleraine offers entertainment for everyone. There's an 8-screen movie house cinema with all the best movies, 10-pin bowling, a massive arcade, soft play for the wee ones. Outdoors, there's a mini fun park and gem mining, plus an 18-hole floodlit mini golf course. Rain or shine, there's something for everyone here at the Jet Centre. Find out more at thejetcentre.co.uk.
And welcome back to Robin Elliott tonight. Now, my next guest is a dating expert and also the script consultant on the Netflix series Sex Education. We're talking about Alix Fox, and we're taking a look at some new research that shows that it's okay to be average. Apparently, average is the secret to success in the dating game. Let's find out more because Alix joins us now. How are you today?
Gloriously good morning to you, Robin. I have got news that is more uplifting than an entire bunch of helium balloons. You are dead right. Now, even though a lot of people feel that they're under pressure to present as an absolute perfect 10 on dating apps, and they'll be left out in the cold if they're not outrageously outstanding, the truth, according to new research by dating app Plenty of Fish, is that actually 81% of singles, that's around 6 out of 10 people, just want someone who's a standard, solid, down-to-earth, relatable, awesome average Joe. They just want a normal person.
So that is going to come as some good news to a lot of people watching this, because according to the research, many people find that having to look good on social media is one of the biggest pressures.
Yeah, unfortunately so. And the truth is that the impression that you make on things like dating apps does matter. Around 70% of people say that they've made a decision as to whether they think someone is their cup of tea, whether they want to say, oh, hello, or absolutely no, based on a profile picture alone. But what people are actually seeking in those pictures is maybe not what you'd expect. The things that people assume would be impressive can actually give you the ick. We found that only 9% of folks are really bothered about washboard abs and having a rippled stomach. Perfectly preened selfies where you're polished and looking like a model that's just come off the runway. Again, only 16% of people find that tickles their pickle. What the majority of folks are really looking for are things like showcasing your hobbies and interests, a sign that you have a sense of humour, that your values match theirs. So it's actually a lot more achievable to be hugely desirable to folks than you might assume.
So those people who go out there and get their photograph taken beside a private jet, or they see a Ferrari or a Lamborghini parked up at the side of the road and decide to get their photograph taken beside it, those people are not going to make it in the dating world then.
Well, I'm sure there'll be some people who would love that. But yeah, we're finding that rather than people thinking, oh, that really makes me click with that person, those sorts of impressions might actually give you the ick. Stuff like posing with money, 75%, that's a whopping chunk of the singleton population said that would turn them right off. Showing off turns off generally. Heavily filtered images as well. 79% of people said that didn't give an impression of authenticity and truth. It would switch them off again. And also sweaty gym selfies. Maybe a bit of a surprise, because you imagine, oh, well, if you've been working out on those guns, then maybe you should shoot them while you're shooting your shot. But no, over half of people just don't want to see that kind of swaggy, braggy photo. They'd rather somebody real who they can relate to.
Alex, do dating apps still work, or have many of them just become like dodgy hookup sites then?
I think it is tempting to feel quite jaded if you've been in the dating space for a while. But the truth is that things are looking up. My parents actually met through a match dating app. And I met my fiance through giving him dating advice after he'd come out of a marriage and was unsure about how to proceed because the dating landscape had changed so much. And he had nerves about dating apps. So it's normal to feel a little bit concerned. But so long as you are being genuine and honest and authentic and upfront about who you are and what you're seeking, then you're more likely to find it. I think there are a lot of people who are very worried about showing their true selves. The truth is, though, if you're trying to front and flex and pretend to be somebody you aren't and pretend to be in it for something that really isn't your style, then you're by taking on this persona, you're really setting yourself up to fail, aren't you? Because if that's what your matches are attracted to, they're unlikely to really chime with your values on a fundamental level.
And is it still possible to go out there without dating apps and just go out to a bar and meet somebody there? Does that still happen?
It does. And it's a good thing to get out there, especially if you get with socializing with your friends, being with your family. For a start, we know that these things are very attractive to other singletons. Nobody really wants somebody who's just sat at home deciding to do nothing with their life until the one rocks up and fixes them, So I would encourage people to get out there and live fully. However, when you go out to a club or a pub or a bar or a restaurant, there's no real guarantee that the people you're going to meet, however wonderful they are going to be available. Some of them might be married, some of them might just be in a place in their lives where they're not really looking for the same kind of relationship that you are. So by going on a dating app and doing so with the right attitude and mindfully, you're much more likely to meet people who are seeking the same things that you are. But I do think that people should have a balance. But yeah, sure, go out there with your friends as well. Don't lock yourself away because you've not locked onto a wedding ring just yet.
Brilliant. Alex, as always, lovely talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's been spectacular.
Fabulous. Thank you. Right, we'll be chatting to swing singer James Huish all about his new project with musical theatre star Alfie Boe, and we'll have some music from James as well right after these.
Here we are on the north coast, where sporting legends are made. He needs this putt to advance to the next stage, but can he do it? The crowd are holding their breath. can he cope with the pressure?
Dad, would you take the shot?
Well,
And welcome back to Robin Elliott tonight. My next guest is back out on tour with his own show. We'll tell you more about that and about another very exciting project that he's involved in as well after we hear from the man himself. Here's James Huish and his version of Fall at Your Feet.
Close tonight, I feel like I'm moving aside of her, lying in the dark. I think that I'm beginning to know her. Let it go, I'll be there when you come, and whenever I fall at your feet, you let your tears rain down on me. Whenever I touch your slow turning pain, you're hiding from me now. Something in the way that you're talking, words don't sound right, but I hear them all moving inside you. Go, I'll be waiting when you call. Oh, whenever I fall at your feet, you let your tears rain down on me. Whenever I touch your slow turning pain, the finger of blame has turned upon itself, and I'm more than willing to offer my...
James Huish and Fall at Your Feet, and I'm pleased to say the man himself joins us in the studio. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thanks. It's great to see you again.
It's been a while.
It's been ages.
Hasn't it? And I remember I was going through the archives the other day. You were once a roving reporter on this show.
I was. You sent me to some incredible places, bars, snooker tournaments.
The World Snooker Championships, if I remember.
Yeah, it was amazing. I hung out backstage with all the players, played cards with them. I was drinking with them, laughing, joking with them.
Exactly.
Getting shouted at by some of them. It was amazing.
That was Ronnie O'Sullivan, wasn't it? He shouted at you. Well,
Yeah.
you expect that from Ronnie, don't you?
And then he literally went out and got 147 the next frame.
Really?
Yeah, and he owes that to me because I wound him up.
That was it?
I fired him up.
A lot of people remember you. I mean, you've been on the circuit now for years, doing
Yeah.
your swing stuff and your Michael... I mean, I think you were the first person to do the Michael Bublé stuff, weren't you?
I was, yeah. And then before Michael Bublé. And then I was doing it when Harry Connick Jr. was around, and then Bublé came out and just did what I knew was going to happen one day, and then everyone's doing it now.
Exactly.
Everybody, yeah.
And you actually met Harry Connick Jr.
I met him here in that building just behind your head there on the waterfront. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was amazing. He was lovely, really nice actually.
Because
really
they say never meet your heroes.
Oh, yes, and I scammed my way into that.
Did you?
Yeah, I did, yeah. So I went to the into the building in the afternoon, and I literally met a guy called Dave Schumacher who was walking around looking at the venue.
Yeah.
He was Harry Connick's saxophone player, an MD.
Yeah.
And I said to him, "Oh, Dave," like I knew him. And he's like, "Oh, hi." Because whenever you do that to someone who's famous, they think they're supposed to know you. So I said, "I've not got a ticket tonight, and I'm supposed to meet Harry."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, let me sort it out for you." Literally, that's what happened. And then that night, Harry Connick Jr. met me, had champagne for me, nibbles and all. And that's how I did it. And I've been friends with Dave Schumacher since.
Brilliant.
And hopefully going to New York and working with him soon, actually.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
all because of that meeting in the waterfront.
There you go.
That's the
There
way
you
do
go.
it.
So you're still singing today. I know you took kind of a little break because you were concentrating on working with the young stars of the future, weren't you?
Yeah, so I set up a theatre school because I've always wanted to work with kids in theatre because like there's so much talent here, especially in Northern Ireland. So that actually took off so big that I couldn't be out till 3 o'clock in the morning, driving the whole country and then teaching kids in the morning. So I took a break from singing for a year. Then COVID happened, and it became 3 years. And then now the theatre schools are going fantastically. And so I thought, do you know what? I need to get back on the road a bit and sing. So that's what I'm doing again now. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we'll talk about the new theatre production, the new theatre school in a second, because I mean that's something very excited. But you're back out on the road. You got a new band with you as well.
Oh, it's my old band.
Is it? They're all back.
Same band. A couple of new players put in, but like we did a welcome back tour. Well, not tour. So this is a welcome back tour, but we did a gig for the first time in like 3 years. We didn't even rehearse. We went on stage and just did it. And it was like we'd never stopped. I was so nervous. As soon as the band started, it's like old times. It's amazing. So yeah, we're hitting the whole of Ireland actually, down south and north as well. So I'm really excited about that.
So give us some dates then. Where can we come and see you then?
I'll give you a little picture you can maybe display.
Yes, we'll do that.
There's loads of dates on there. So, but this is by time this program comes out, we will be playing the Empire again, which is my favourite venue in Belfast. We'll be doing that on February next year. So that's the end of the tour. So we start from like July. And then August and all the way through December, and we finish in February.
Wow.
So we'll be at like places like Theatre at the Mill and the Mac, the Empire, and then most of them are down south. But yeah, so if you want to travel to like Claremorris or the Orne Gronion Theatre, I've never heard of that before. But
it's in Letterkenny.
Is it?
Is it? I think it is.
That's where I'm going. I'm going there as well. So we're going to play some venues I've never heard of, so I'm really excited. So travel, come and see us, or see us at the Empire or something.
Well, the Empire, I think the Empire was the very first gig that I ever did with you.
It was.
It was.
And you came and reported from that gig.
I did.
That was the first time I ever played it.
Yeah.
It's all come back.
And I introduced you on stage and everything that
did.
night. I remember
It's
that.
all come back full circle. Let's do it again this time.
Let's do it again. There
Let's
we
do
go.
it. Yeah.
Tell me about the theatre school, because I mean, you haven't just teamed up with anybody. I mean, you've got Alfie Boe on board. I mean, musical theatre royalty.
He is. So during COVID, a lot of theatre schools shut down. So I thought, no, we've got to do something for the kids. So I enlisted the help of loads of West End and Broadway stars to come on every Saturday and take classes with the kids. So we were all in our homes all over Northern Ireland, and then I didn't tell them who was zooming in. So we'd have these big stars just appear, and the kids' faces would be like, they couldn't believe I'd got them. And Alfie, I just contacted Alfie, and he was really happy to help. And then he did loads of workshops through COVID for us as well, online. He never wanted paid for anything. He just had a real passion for teaching. And so we both, and then he invited me with all the kids to the Royal Albert Hall. So the kids from Northern Ireland, they all flew to London. They're on stage with them at the Royal Albert Hall. And he said, we need to do something together, something a bit bigger. So we decided to put this theatre school together, which links kids with the industry. So every time they come in on a Saturday, we might have someone from New York zooming into the actual classes in the academy, or appearing in person. We have a lady called Jodie Langell, who's a massive TikTok sensation. She's coming over this weekend to teach the kids. She's flying from New York.
Right.
So but it also, not only does it put them in touch with the stars and people they can look up to, but it's writers who write musicals, casting directors, theatre technicians, stage managers. So it's giving kids an insight into the real industry. And our job is to then make them ready to then go on and do a degree in musical theatre to make sure they get to the college they want to. So it's really exciting. We've got our own building as well, which is amazing, which we'll be announcing. We've actually announced it already, but we've keeping the location secret. So they'll have their own purpose-built studios, a recording studio in there, green screen room. We're going to set up a studio a bit like this studio, so we can work on their like acting for film and TV and screen, and film their show reels and their voice reels for them. So by the time they leave us, they're ready for the industry or college. So it's really, really exciting. And without Alfie, it wouldn't have happened.
Exactly. And the time is so right for this, because as you said earlier, the talent out there at the moment who are getting a lot of opportunities but need to know how to progress and take it on further. It's needed more now than ever before, isn't it?
You've seen the theatre industry here. Like, I know you do a lot with theatre here, and you support it really well, which is fantastic. And the industry really appreciates people like you doing that. But there isn't. If you want to train in musical theatre here, you've got to go leave your family and live in England. So we ideally want to put a degree course in Ireland. That's the plan. Really connect the kids here with the industry by letting them stay in their own country and get a degree. So that's our plan.
I know somebody else who's been very good to you is Rachel Tucker, our very own Rachel, who's been a big supporter of the school, hasn't she?
Yeah, Rachel's been a friend of mine for years, and she's an ambassador of this new school as well. She'll be there all of the time, but there's nobody who's a better example than Rachel Tucker, because she's done it all on Broadway in the West End, but it took her years. She had to get on a TV program as the Nancy program to get someone to see her finally. So she's used to rejection, she's seen it all, and she can tell the kids, listen, it's hard work, and nobody works harder than she does in this industry. And
I have a clip of Rachel when she was very, very young in a radio studio many, many years ago, and I said to her, what would your ultimate dream be as a kid? Yeah. And she said, it's to play Alfie Boe in Wicked. And there you go.
There you go. Can I tell you a really great fun fact about that?
Yes.
Do you know where the name Alfie Boe comes from?
No.
So who wrote The Wizard of Oz? L. Frank Baum. Alfie Boe.
Right.
So they used his initials. And that's why she's called Alfie Boe, as a nod to the man who wrote The Wizard of Oz.
I never knew that.
Isn't that cool, you see?
That is, yeah.
And then fun facts for me.
Yeah. So tell us about the school then. If people want to sign up, if they want to join you, can they do that then?
They can, yeah. So they just go onto our website, which is Huish Boe Academy. My name's so hard to spell. HUISHBOE academy.co.uk, or email info@HuishBoe Academy, and we'll get them sorted out. We have lots of workshops for kids as well who maybe just want to do a bit of fun in theatre. So you don't have to just be like really focused on a career. You can come and have a bit of fun with us as well.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Will you come back in September when Alfie's here?
Yes, I'll bring Alfie. You need another chair?
We'll do that.
Or make me sit behind him or something. But yes, no, definitely. Well, he's already said to me, because I said I was coming on today.
Yeah.
And he said, right, when I'm there, I want to come on as well. So
because of course he's coming as part of Les Mis to Belfast, isn't he? Which again is something very exciting.
Yes, so it's the Les Mis concert, and he'll be playing Valjean for the majority of the whole time they're here, sharing it with Killian Donaghy, who's another Northern Irish guy.
Yeah.
Alfie's really looking forward to coming to Belfast. He likes his motorbike, so he's coming on the motorbike.
Brilliant.
So we would like to just ride around it. So if you've got a theatre school, if anyone's listening who has a theatre school, and you want to workshop with Alfie, we want to come down on our motorbikes and do a workshop. It's like the hairy bikers. Like we could do something like that. It'd be fantastic.
I remember the days when we had to get you on a bike flying up from Dublin to Belfast one night for a gig. Do you remember that? It was seriously crazy time.
Do you remember that? Was it you who sorted me out of a helicopter as well?
We tried to get a helicopter for that gig.
Was that the same gig?
It was the same gig.
There was another gig. I had a helicopter.
We had we did.
Yeah. Robin used to manage me. It was fantastic.
There you go.
Those were the days. We need to have a little chat off air about some things in the future. We should.
Okay. Should we play one of your videos then?
Yeah. And we'll have it.
What should we go for then? What should we play this time?
Well, let's do a bit of swing. So let's do Cry Me a River by Michael Bublé.
James Huish, Cry Me a River.
Well, you can cry me a river, cry me a river. I cried a river over you. And now you say you're sorry being so untrue. Oh, well, you can cry me a river, cry me a river. So I cried a river over you. You drove me nearly out of my head. Well, you never shed a tear, babe. I remember all that you said. You told me love was too plebeian. You told me you were through with me. And no, you say you love me. Well, just to prove that you do, why don't you cry me a river? Cry me a river.
Right, still to come on Robin Elliott tonight, we're talking boomerang smells with cleaning expert Laura Mountford, and we're going to find out about the latest production from Kabosh Theatre Company right after these.
Let the good times roll at Super Strikes at the Jet Centre. You can now book your lane online. We've got 14 bowling lanes and 4 mini bowling lanes. Plus we serve delicious hot food and snacks, or enjoy a cold beverage with your food after the game. Discover bowling today at the Jet Centre. Jet Centre, entertainment for everyone.
So next up we're talking theatre and a show that gets its premiere as part of this year's Eastside Arts Festival. It's called 3 Paydays. It's from Kabosh Theatre Company. I'm pleased to say that Holly and Lizzie are here in the studio to tell us all about it. Welcome. So first of all, I mean, it's exciting to be part of a premiere, isn't it?
Absolutely. We're really, really excited. So this is the first time that this is ever going to be on stage, and it's really nice to have quite a fresh take on sort of the housing crisis. Unfortunately, quite a relatable story for a lot of people, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
A brand new script commissioned with the Arts Council National Lottery Commissioning Grant with Kabosh in partnership with Eastside Arts Festival. So it'll be brand new. It's Alice Mulseed, the playwright, has been working with the Larder Community Food Hub out in East Belfast on kind of research and development, interviews with a lot of women's groups and everything. So it's a story very much representative of people's experiences in East Belfast and across the city, and we're just really excited to kind of bring it to stage and bring it to life. And Alice's scripts are always very moving but also very funny and very relatable and hit the kind of light and dark at the same time.
And of course the thing is there's lots going on within the housing market out there at the moment, and sadly it's not a great place to be involved in, is it?
Well, this is it, and this is why Holly and myself can attest to kind of the situation. I think, as Holly said, it's a story that's going to relate to a lot of people, and I think it really kind of touches on that private rental market and what renters are kind of facing. And for a lot of people across Belfast, that's something that is at the forefront of what their day-to-day kind of experience and what they're dealing with in terms of managing their kids and their experience of poverty. So as much as the development was with a community food hub, where you kind of think we'd be talking about social supermarkets and food, housing is that one thread that kind of keeps us all together.
Exactly. And Holly, I suppose the big thing as well is at the moment as well is actually getting a home out there as well, because the rental market is just crazy at the moment, isn't it?
Well, that's it. And unfortunately, you've got the rise of these private landlords, which means that really the rental market is at their beck and call. They can decide how much they want to charge. They can decide how good the living situations are. Of course, you've still got estate agents and that sort of thing and those protections in place, but there really isn't a lot of legislation that can help the private renter, so to speak, which means that it just becomes harder and harder. And now you're actually facing the situation where people like myself, like Lizzie, who have our own horror stories, you're in long-term rents and you're actually shunted out for the likes of Airbnbs or fresh renters. It's madness.
And even though these rents are going up all the time and stuff, there are landlords out there who aren't keeping their property to the standard it should be to match the money as well, isn't that? I mean, it's horrendous stories we're hearing of people living in basic poverty in these places.
Exactly. I mean, the rise of sort of, the official term is slum landlords.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're all very proud to be living in Belfast, but the housing situation, especially for young renters or people at the start of their sort of housing ladder, it can get worse and worse by the day, because up until very recently there wasn't a housing union. There is CATU now, of course, we're both proud members, but they really don't have the numbers to provide the protection for as many people as need them at this stage.
There's 10,000 people in Belfast City Council that are in housing stress, and housing stress is a term that's kind of, in a pressured situation. So it can mean they can be in inappropriate accommodation. So it can be families where kids are having to share beds or things like that. It can mean that there's so much damp and mold that it's a health issue. And that's just a really shocking statistic. There's over 10,000 people in 2024 in housing stress. And when we're relying on a kind of system where people see properties as passive income and the rest of us are working really hard to earn our money and maybe not earning the money that we want to, it's just a really it's just a really negative situation.
So talk us through the play then. Who do we meet in the play? What's the kind of story behind it?
Well, we don't want to give too much away.
Okay.
But it follows 3 people. So you've got a lovely renter, if I do say so myself. You've got a landlord, a lady landlord, played by Mary Moulds, and then you have the
Stevie, a kind of a landlord assistant. So he's a handyman. He's someone that you recognise. He's the middleman. I think that's what the play does really well. It kind of explores the nuance of these are all recognisable figures, and nobody's bad.
Yeah.
It's all very complicated, it's all very nuanced. You understand why people are kind of in those situations. And Stevie especially is that kind of middle character where, yes, he's helping out the landlord and things, but he's got his own story and he's got his own reasons to kind of be involved in that sort of system.
Yeah.
And I think that's the sense of we're all very close in this. We're 3 paydays, you know, from experiencing kind of homelessness ourselves, and that sense of community really comes through that, you know, if we all band together, there is positive change that can happen in a housing market like this.
And you said earlier, it's not all doom and gloom. There's some humour, and we kind of find that in Belfast plays. We can actually find the humour out of the darkness as well.
Exactly. We're excellent at dark comedy, and I think that there's a few lines in the script, and a script is always kind of a living being, so I'm hoping there's a few things that make it through. But there was one kind of presentation that Alice wrote about standing in the queue, watching the other people that are going to go view the property, and that for me felt like, all those kind of crazy stories where you hear your friend and was like, I wore a blazer, I pretended to be in a couple with this person, and you're kind of presenting all these versions of yourself because you want the landlord to pick you. Yeah.
So Holly, you open at the Sanctuary Theatre, which for anybody who hasn't been is just this fabulous little space in East Belfast. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. And I think as well, we were lucky enough, obviously Alice developed it with Larder, but we also had our research and development there last year in the Larder, so it's nice to be able to bring it back to the community that sort of helped it come to the stage that it's at now.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have a lot of fun, and then we obviously get to take it to the Fila. So I think, you know, obviously it's a very stressful topic for a lot of people, but there's a brilliant comedic cast. Mary Moulds, Patrick McBrady are fabulous. And with the theatres we're going to, I think it's going to be a really joyful experience, quite cathartic for a lot of people.
So it's Eastside Arts first, then you're off to Fairlight, then you're off to Derry then, I believe, after that.
Derry will be playing at the Playhouse on the 3rd of August.
Brilliant. Well, if people want to get more information, if they want to book their tickets, how do they go about doing that?
They can go to the Kabosh website, so www.kabosh.net, and they can find everything they need there, but they can also book through the festivals or the other venues. So if you want to give it a Google, hopefully we'll pop up as the first result.
Brilliant. Holly, who should come and see this show then?
Oh, for one, I think everyone. I think it's a really joyful experience for a lot of people sort of our age, people at the start of the housing ladder. I think they'll be able to see themselves in this, which will be cathartic, as I said, but also with the laughs in it. I think we'll be able to point and laugh at that. But also I think it would be very good for landlords to come see. I think it'll be a really humanising experience. Obviously, as Lizzie said, no one sets out to be a villain, and that's not what we're saying landlords are. But to have a little bit more of the human side, because so much of what's done these days is through the phone or through email. I think it'll be really, really good for pretty much everyone to come see it. So come along.
Well, sounds like a great show. I'm looking forward to it. The best of luck, and thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Gorgeous.
Right, time now to meet our final guest on the show this evening. She's here to share her tips and tricks about how to get your laundry looking good, feeling good and smelling fabulous as well. And also we're going to find out how to beat those lingering smells that keep coming back for more. Always good to see Laura Mountford, who joins us now. How are you today?
Hi Robin, thank you so much for having me back on the show.
Good to see you. So today we're talking about how our clothes smell, and according to some new research, people judge others on how we smell. Research amongst UK adults have found that many of us are quick to judge those with clothes that smell, with 56% admitting they make an instant judgment about somebody based on how they smell.
Over half of us judge someone based on how they smell, which I guess is true, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Tell us about boomerang smells, because this is a thing.
It is a thing. Like, isn't it the perfect phrase, though, for something that we've probably not known what it was called before, but it's a boomerang smell that just keeps coming back again. So it's one of those smells that comes back even when you've washed your laundry. So it's like those trapped smelly particles that are in your clothes that you then go to wear your clothes and it still doesn't smell quite fresh. So for example, your clothes might smell a little bit musty, or they might smell a bit sweaty because they haven't been properly washed in the machine. So hopefully I'm going to share some tips with you today, Robin, to banish those boomerang smells for good.
Okay, so how do we do it? And what do we need to get rid of those smells then?
Okay, so to banish boomerang smells, first thing is to make sure we're using products correctly. So on my Instagram page, I did a Q&A with my audience to ask them what are their biggest laundry struggles. And the two things were, first of all, how do I keep my clothes smelling fresh? Because they always smell musty even after I've washed them. And the second thing was, how do I use laundry products properly? So I think I probably take that for granted, but actually there are so many laundry products out there these days, aren't there, that it can be a bit of a minefield and not knowing what to use for what. And I have put so many laundry products through their paces over the years, so hopefully I can share my knowledge with that. But my top tips are, firstly, if you're using the pods, I love the pods because they're just really convenient, aren't they? They're basically like a little like tablet, I suppose, full of detergent. Yeah. So it's like a little, it's got the exact dosage that you need, and you put it in the machine and it dissolves and it cleans your clothes. So it's really convenient. But a lot of people don't know when to use it, whether to put it in at the start or at the end of, they don't know whether to put the pod in before or after they've put the laundry in. And the answer is actually makes sense when I explain it. So you put the pod into the empty drum and then you put your laundry in. And the reason for that is that the drum fills with water from the bottom. So by putting the pod in first, it's going to be close to that water and it's going to dissolve properly to be able to deep clean your clothes. Whereas if you put it on like at the end, after the laundry has gone into the drum, it's not going to dissolve properly. So it's not going to be able to deep clean your clothes and get rid of those boomerang smells.
I'm learning already. Now, I did smell somebody yesterday, and I know what the smell was. They obviously tried to wash their clothes, but their clothes weren't dried properly, and you get this funny smell that happens.
Yeah, it can cause like a musty smell, can't it? Yeah. And that is a boomerang smell, because it shouldn't smell musty. It should smell lovely and fresh.
I'll definitely do that. Now tell us about some of your other tips and tricks then. You say always have some white vinegar standing by.
Yeah, white vinegar is a great natural cleaner, whether it be for laundry or for cleaning your home, and it's really inexpensive as well. White vinegar is really good for cleaning your washing machine, because obviously it's important to maintain your washing machine so that it helps to clean your clothes effectively. But the most important thing is having quality laundry products to be able to deep clean your clothes effectively and get rid of those odours. And also following the dosage instructions, which a lot of people don't tend to read the backs of the packs of products. And I always think of it as, if you were cooking something, you wouldn't cook it without reading the instructions on the back, would you? So it's the same with your laundry products. Read the back of the pack so that you're using it correctly and using the correct dosage for the load size and also for the hardness of your water. So I don't know, is it a hard water area where you live?
I don't know.
The test is...
I live halfway up a mountain.
I bet it's beautiful where you live, isn't it?
Well, I can see the whole of Belfast. I can see the cranes. I can see the top of the Europa Hotel and everything.
Oh, it sounds lovely.
Yeah.
The test is, on your shower, does your shower screen get like watermarks on it?
Yes, it does.
You probably have got like hard water, like chalkiness almost in your water.
Yes.
So that determines, whether you use 1 pod or 2 pods.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if I'm washing my bedding, I'll use 2 pods because it's like a full load and you want it to get really clean. So yeah, hopefully those tips help for banishing boomerang smells.
And what about if you spill red wine? Do you get a glass of white wine and throw it round it?
Absolutely not. Is a waste of a good glass of wine. So yeah, use a quality stain removal product.
Laura, I have learned so much, as always, from talking to you.
I need to get you using the washing machine. That is my aim, is to get you confident with the washing machine.
I promise I'll give it a go.
Won't be held responsible for any mishaps.
Well, come across and see us in Belfast sometime.
Oh, I'd absolutely love to. I've never been to Belfast.
Really?
The only place I've been to in Ireland is Dublin, but I definitely want to go to Belfast.
Right, okay. Laura, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
So lovely to speak to you again. Take care.
So there we go. I learned so much, as always, from talking to cleaning expert Laura Mountford. That's all we have time for on the show this week. Thank you for watching. Big thank you to all of my guests, and we'll see you back here same time next week. Bye-bye.